Hey guys and gals, this is Cal from Dirty Weasel, and we have yet another episode of the Skyrim Special Edition Modding Guide. In this episode, we are tackling Wearable Lanterns by Chesko. The latest version of Wearable Lanterns was made prior to the release of SKSE64, and using it with the script extender installed now can be a bit problematic. This video will identify the problems and show you how to make corrections. Keep in mind that Chesko has publicly stated that he is working on updating his more popular mods for the Special Edition and SKSE64. So this video may be obsolete at a later date. But many of you want the fix now, and that's what we're going to deliver. Alright, let's get started here. You know, what we're talking about right now is Wearable Lanterns by Chesko on the Special Edition, and it was released on January 2017, and it was basically done before SKSE64 got done. The old version is feature complete, everything's done on it, and it used the old SKSE. So, like I said, this one was done before SKSE64. It still has a lot of pieces and parts to make it work for us, but we're going to have to try and fix things. It has some problems. With that in mind, let's go take a look at it. I have it in Mod Organizer 2, ready to go. Most of these fixes will be usable for Nexus Mod Manager or Vortex, but you're just going to have to know where your files are kept, and you're going to have to go back in and try and retrieve things. So just remember what things are doing here. We're going to install Wearable Lanterns, but not into my Dirty Weasel Media main profile. I'm going to go back to Testy. And this is my test profile. It has a couple things that I always have installed for every test profile, but most of them are deactivated. You'll notice a couple things right away. PapyrusUtil SE is a modder's resource, and you need that to make the fix I'm about to describe work for you as far as meters and whatnot. PapyrusUtil SE. So just remember, I installed that in a previous episode of this guide, and I always have it installed on my test profile, along with SKSE, the any tweaks, the unofficial patches, remember my loose patches, Sky UI, UI extensions, and add item menu, which allows me to grab things very quickly without having to go into the console to find things. This is my test profile. We're going to install it into my test profile. Manual, readmes, I don't need the readmes, but you see it has a textures.bsa, a lantern BSA, and an ESP. I'm going to click OK. Going all the way down here at the bottom, I'm just going to activate it. I don't care about where it sits because it's my test profile. And you can see it's at the bottom, and that's perfectly appropriate for testing. Let's go into game and see what happens. Okay, here we are at the main menu, and we're just going to hit our console, and we're going to type in COC. If you've never done this before, this is one way to quickly get into game. COC space Riverwood. OD. It's going to take me to Riverwood with a test character. Nothing's going to really work as far as saves or any of that stuff goes, but we do see the first problem. And this is a message from Wearable Lanterns. Basically, this message from Chesko saying, fail to read from or write to your settings profile. Settings profile store all of your Wearable Lantern settings. This is most likely due to not having folder read-write permissions to data SKSE. For mod organizer users, that'd be us. It would be your mod organizer overwrite SKSE directory. You can also try to run Skyrim as administrator. Don't do any of this stuff. I know he's being helpful, but I've got a better solution for you. You should resolve this problem before continuing. Okay, we got that. Press OK. Now, here we are in game. I have a test character. All right, there he is. The Dovahkiin. So let's open up. We're going to wait for the mod configuration menu. There it is. And we'll open that up and take a look. Now, under system, we hit mod configuration, and you see we have Wearable Lanterns. You're going to see the first problems we have right now. You have some weird text going on here, and you click on each one of these, the text is all scrambled. And each one of those categories, the text is all scrambled, it's messed up, it's got a bunch of weird symbols going on, you don't know how to control things, so we're going to try and fix that. So that's problem number 2. I'm just going ahead and go back, and we are going to QQ out of here. And we're back at our desktop. Now you'll see problem number 3. You're going to get a folder inserted into your overwrite. You take a look at it and it's SKSE, plugins, and nothing else is in there. You'll see this happen with Wearable Lanterns and another mod from Chesko, Simply Knock. And what this is telling you to do, if you remember the functions of your overwrite, it's basically taking anything that is being generated by a mod or by an outside utility like TS5 Edit, Rybash, anything else, and it's throwing it into your overwrite as a generated file, and it's telling you, you should really do something with this. But in this case, you can see the mod that we've been using, Wearable Lanterns, has created an SKSE folder and plugins, but it failed to write to the plugins folder because it's not set up correctly. That's problem number 3, but we're going to solve that first. And I'll actually solve problem number 1. I'm going to need to delete that folder because you always want to have your overwrite empty. Fix number 1. I want you to go into your main Skyrim directory and into data. Remember, it's trying to write something into your data folder, which is where we are, and it's trying to write into SKSE, but there's nothing in here for it to write to. So we actually have to create some new folders. Go ahead and just right click anywhere and you're going to create a new folder. And we're going to call it SKSE. Okay. Now inside of that folder, we're going to create you can see it's empty. We're going to create a new folder in here as well. And you can create a new folder and we're going to call it plugins. Remember, that's the same structure that the overwrite folder had. Now back into your data folder, you have SKSE and plugins. For right now, it is completely blank, and that's okay. That's fix number 1. So what do we have to do with Wearable Lanterns to make it work? Well, the second problem, the interface issue, is what we're going to address. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that mod because I need to make some changes. I'm going to go into my downloads and delete that mod because I need to fix stuff. On my desktop, I have the Skyrim Special Edition version of Wearable Lanterns. I'm going to set that aside for right now because this is not the fix we need to do first. Over on this side, I have the Legendary Edition of Wearable Lanterns, and that is mod number 17416 on the Skyrim Nexus, not the Special Edition. This is the Legendary Edition. I went and got that from my file section and just downloaded it manually and put it on my desktop. There it is. What's inside of this? Well, let's extract that folder to Wearable Lanterns 4.0.2 release 17416 is the old mod, and we have it on our desktop. Open that folder up. You can see we have readmes SKSE, plugins, storageutil.dll. So we're going to set that off to the side. The first thing we need to do is extract that BSA. Remember, we use Bethesda Archive Extractor for extracting all these, and you can go back and look up that video that I did on Bethesda Archive Extractor and see the basic tools, but I'm going to show you how it works right now. And we have Bethesda Archive Extractor. So we're going to highlight that BSA and we're going to drag it over and drop it into Bethesda Archive Extractor. And we're going to extract it out back into the folder for 17416. Extract. Go to our desktop, look for 17416, open that up. You can see the readmes and the SKSE. It will not recognize the ESP or the BSA, but this is the correct folder. Select that folder, and it's going to drop all the stuff into it. Okay, we're done with Bethesda Archive Extractor for right now. We'll come back to it. We don't need to delete anything. This is not a mod that we're going to convert over to the Special Edition. We're going to pull some stuff out. And I need to create a new folder for that stuff to go into. I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop, and I'm going to name it Wearable Lanterns Interface. And you say I put underscores underneath everything so it all mod organizer will know to read it correctly. What do we have in this folder? Nothing right now, but we need to drag some things over. And the first thing we're going to do is the interface. You open up the interface on the old mod, you'll see exported, widgets, Wearable Lanterns, meter.swf. In translations, it's got a bunch of translations. All right, that's fine. And then Wearable Lanterns folder, under interface, it has the title. That's just to make the MCM work correctly. So we're going to copy that folder and paste it into our new Wearable Lanterns interface folder. Now we're also going to grab out of this, we're going to grab the entire SKSE folder, inside of which has plugins and the storage.util. We're going to copy that and paste it into our new folder for Wearable Lanterns interface. And there you go. You have one of two options. You now have a Wearable Lanterns interface. You could either package this up into Wearable Lanterns interface.rar, put it into your mod organizer, and have it ready to go. And when in conjunction with the Special Edition mod, you can now install these together and things will work. Double click to install. Actually, first we'll query this. There we go. That's the correct name title I want to see. You could just double click to install, manual, and install this with change the name just a little bit. That's fine. I'm just going to put it Wearable Lanterns to make it easy for me and press OK. Okay, so that is installed. It is down here at the bottom. That's the original mod without the interfaces. So you have one of two options. You could either install this as a separate mod and install it below Wearable Lanterns, or you could merge them together, interface and SKSE, by just making it Wearable Lanterns. Okay, and it will ask you if you want to merge it or replace it. I want to just merge them together. Optional ESP is still there. You go to your file tree. You now have interface that we added, SKSE, the original textures.bsa, and a BSA for just the rest of the file, and then you have an ESP. Okay, those are the two options. Generally, in this one, I would go ahead and just install this one separately, and it would sit below it wherever in your priority list on the left-hand side. As far as plugins go, it's going to be right where it wants to be. You can use Loot to do whatever. You know, that's the solution for most people, is to just do it that way. And it will work. It will work just fine. But you know me, I'm going to go ahead and do things my own way. Back to our desktop. We have the Wearable Lanterns interface, the folder with the interface and the SKSE. We also have on our desk, we now have the new mod from Special Edition, mod number 7560. This is the one with the two BSAs from Chesko. We want to combine these two things together. So I'm going to need to extract out Wearable Lanterns. There's the folder right there. And inside of which you have the readmes, the Lantern Textures BSA, and the Wearable Lantern.bsa. I'm going to go ahead and use Bethesda Archive Extractor again, and I'm going to extract out both of these BSAs back into this folder. I'm not going to bore you with showing you all this stuff, but I'll come back to you when I'm all done. Okay, I'm all done. I've extracted everything out. I now need to, because I've extracted the contents of both these BSAs, because I did one for textures and one for the rest of the stuff that had the other issues, I need to delete both of those BSAs because I'm going to create a new mod that is a loose files mod of Wearable Lanterns. Now this is a loose file setup. I go back into my Wearable Lanterns interface, and we're going to add the interface and the SKSE folders from the interface folder we created on our desktop. Just control click both of these and drag them over and drop them into the mod 7560 for Special Edition. Close that folder. Now we have meshes, readmes, scripts, SEQ, textures, the ESP, the interface that we got from the old mod, and the SKSE folder that we got from the old mod. Remember, this one has plugins? We now close that down. We now have a brand new fixed version of Wearable Lanterns 4.03. I'm going to change that name so I can remember what the heck it is. I'm going to call it 4.03 underscore fixed. There we go. Wearable Lanterns 4.03 fixed. I'm going to now create a archive for Wearable Lanterns 4.03 fixed, and we'll create it on my desktop. I can now take that one, the fixed version, and drop it into Mod Organizer. I'm not going to try and query this and see what happens. We're just going to go ahead and install it as is. Since I know what it is, I can change the mod number later. And we're just going to double click to install. You see Wearable Lanterns, I can change the name to Wearable Lanterns 4.0.3 fixed, and that's perfectly fine for me. I'm going to click manual. Right click, set data directory, and we can have everything in the contents that I just showed you in that folder that we created, but it is a loose file setup. We press OK. So I can now go ahead and install that mod, activate it, and you can see Wearable Lantern.esp is the only thing being added. Here brings us to our next point. You can see there is a conflict. Okay, where is that conflict? Let's go up and take a look. It's PapyrusUtil SE. This is a brand new version of PapyrusUtil, and it has some scripts in there that are a little different than the version that we created for Wearable Lanterns 4.0.3 fixed. And this is one of those cases where you have one of two options. You could either slide it up and put it above PapyrusUtil SE, allowing the files that were conflicts, allowing the new version of PapyrusUtil SE to overwrite those files. Option number 2. You may have other reasons why you want to move this thing around, but it will work perfectly fine here. Your other option is to go ahead and double click on the mod, go to your conflicts, and it's going to show the files that are being overwritten. And these are the 4 ones you need to be aware of. You can write these all down, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write all these PEX and PESC files, write them down, know where they're going to be located, and I'm going to hide them with Mod Organizer 2. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Stand by. Okay, I've made notes of the 4 scripts I need to fix. So in Wearable Lanterns, just go ahead and double click on the mod. We'll just go ahead and open this all the way up. Go into your file tree, and under scripts, we are looking for StorageUtil.PEX. StorageUtil.PEX. That's file number 1 in this that we need to look for. We can right click on it and we can hide it. The other one that is solely in scripts is JSONUtil.PEX. Do the same thing with that and hide it. Now inside of source, you have 2 other files we are looking for. The StorageUtil PSC file, StorageUtil.PSC file, we can hide that one. And then the second one we're looking for is the JSONUtil.PSC. We can hide that one as well. And we can now close that mod down. And you can see that the overwrites are all gone. Everything's been fixed. So this mod can be put farther down or anywhere you want to put it because you've resolved the conflicts. Because we've hidden the files inside of Wearable Lanterns, PapyrusUtil is now the primary. It doesn't matter where this one goes now. It can be farther down, but there's no conflicts because we've hidden those files. And that's the way I use it. Let's go back into game and double check to make sure everything is working. All right, here we are at our main menu, and I'm not going to make any deletes or cuts in this edit so you can see it work completely. I'm going to open my console, put in COC Riverwood, and we'll just let it load in. I'm not going to make any cuts or any edits so you know this is working correctly. And we open up into a Riverwood that doesn't have any warning messages about the SKSE stuff or any overwrites. Okay, we're doing pretty good. The MCM is up, so we can go ahead and open our system. Go to our mod configuration, Wearable Lanterns. We're looking good. And we look at General. And this is exactly what we want to see. Under Meters, everything's looking awesome. And under Profiles, you can see everything. And I'll tell you right now, everything worked perfectly fine. All the meters, all the hotkeys, everything worked. The only thing that didn't work real well for me was the profile system. So just so you know, there may be some issues with this that I can't figure out right now. It may involve the SkyUI 5.0 and having to add a blank ESP so it will reference it. I think that is an excessive fix for something that Chesko will be fixing. So if you just want the mod to work, everything will work just fine. I'm going to put this on a lantern toggle to my L key because I like light there. And we'll go ahead and click on out. We'll grab a lantern. We'll go ahead and equip that lantern. Where is it at? Equip the lantern. Check out the Dragonborn. There he is. And hit our hotkey for L for light. And it goes off. Easy peasy. I can tell you right now, all the meters worked. Everything else works just beautifully. And there's no major issues. I'm just going to QQ out of here. Obviously, because this is something new, and Wearable Lanterns has generated a file, come down to your overwrite. Now you can see it's the same things before. You have an SKSE folder, plugins, but inside of now you have Wearable Lanterns that you didn't have before, Wearable Lanterns data. Then you have the startup test file JSON and the profile 1 JSON. And that's perfectly normal. Go ahead and open that up again. Go to where you kept Wearable Lanterns. There it is right there. Hit that file. And the reason why I close it down, then open it back up in your overwrite, because sometimes it doesn't want to drag and drop easily. Just now that you've got SKSE highlighted, drag it and drop it into Wearable Lanterns. So inside of that, we have file tree, SKSE, plugins, Wearable Lanterns, along with the storage util.dll, and the 2 profiles. So everything will work just fine. I hope this video helps you out and allows you to use Wearable Lanterns. In the future, I'm going to try and fix Frostfall and Campfire all at the same time, so we can use both of those mods. But those take a little more tweaking and a couple extra steps. I think that because they kind of go together, they should have their own video that explains everything. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoy it. I love Wearable Lanterns. It's one of my favorite mods, and I just had to have it, and I had to make it work. I'm passing that information on to you. Thanks for watching. My name's Cal. I'm from Dirty Weasel, and I'm signing off.